And sometimes
but
she's gonna listen to you.
challenger. To be quite
that's
honest,
the thing.
that's why when I the ice boy, when I money, what challenger. We don't treat each other as equal. So on an ice boy have it and talk.
You know what I think?
As my father passed away like a month or two ago, right? If it was not for you guys hearing it from work, I don't think I would have told you.
That's what I actually told him. To say,
I was definitely the reason why you guys
women are very clear with what they want in any relationship. If you are a friend, you are going to be a friend. If you are a lover, you are going to be a lover. And she will show you in all ways that she wants to either be a friend or she wants to either be a partner to you. So okay. And I
sometimes
and that's when they want to fuck over shit, eh?
And you know,
and one thing I've noticed with gents that are in that position, you're in your most vulnerable position. You don't want to Hello guys, you're watching Global Streetz Live. My name is Witty. I am chilling with my boys. We decided to make a different episode today because we really wanted to just channel in and speak to the men, as we have a lot of things to talk about as gents. I've got my boy Lesejo, I've got my boy Kagiso, and we are going to just dive in to a lot of factors that just may be challenging in the men's world.
Yeah.
We do have our girl in here today. However, we did just want to get it a little bit more personalized for the gents, because we are going to get a little vulnerable as the boys, as the men, as the gents. So yeah, she asked that she could just sit aside for this so that we can make everybody else just comfortable around it. So yeah, what are we starting with, gentlemen? Let's do this, sir.
I think my nigga is gonna take us through. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna pose questions that generally pop up.
Yeah.
Some is the gents or street squads have been asking for advice here and there. But in general, it's the position mentally guys have been in, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, so one of the questions now, as a man who is not supposed to show weakness or being emotional, how do I release or work towards being okay in a society or environment that does not allow me to crumble down? Whew.
Yeah. Hey,
That's a good one.
that is a good one, and that is a very deep one.
That's a good one. I think we all know that ladies, most of the time, ladies or women, they can show their emotional
Open.
position in that moment, right? How they're feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a man, sometimes you feel like crying, but you can't cry because the society is gonna deem that as a sign of weakness, right? I think you once mentioned it, Hori, men, they need that time to be with the gents so that they can be rough.
Yeah.
Because that would be a moment of them to be calm, whatever, and release the stress and whatever that they've been
recollect
carrying the whole
themselves.
time.
Yeah.
So I think you just need to find that one thing individually, because it's not a one size fit all type of thing.
Yeah.
So you know what works for you. You just need to find that one thing that you know, if I can do this thing, then I'm gonna feel better. All these pressures and everything else that I'm carrying on my shoulders, it's gonna be a bit of a relief. Yeah.
Okay. I do agree, and I think we as men are just generally raised like that from just birth, from being a kid, from being a boy child. And this happened to probably all of us here.
So far?
to say when you are 3 years old, 2 years old, you know, as soon as you start understanding, you probably start walking. Immediately when you fall and you cry, the first thing that comes out from anybody in the family, whether it is a sister, whether it is an uncle, a father, an aunt, whoever that is going to get you to stop crying at the time, will normally mention Bashimane Aballe, boys don't cry. And that, I think that's where it actually starts, you know. It is a societal thing, and I think it's just globally like that, to say men are just generally not supposed to cry. And I think we need to just somehow come back and realize that men, women, we all are emotional. We all are human beings. We all do have emotions, you know. So it would also just be nice for men to be brought back and heard, listened to.
You know, just to also add on what you're saying, right? Because as you are saying, it's a societal thing, right? That is why, because of this thing, Mushima Nali and all of these things, that is why you see the suicidal stats. They mean men are the most that are committing all of these suicides.
True.
It's because, and sometimes it's a bit weird because tomorrow we hanging.
True.
And you think to yourself, but this guy was fine.
Yes.
But this guy was going through a lot.
True.
But I think the question is generally posed towards that. I'm not okay, but I have no one to speak to.
True.
Yeah, because
She use my weaknesses against me. For whatever case that be, to get a stronghold towards me. Nah.
sometimes he's not. You're just thinking to yourself, because this guy's going to see me as a weak person.
Okay.
So if I tell him all of these things, he's going to think I'm weak. And sometimes
But
she's going to listen to you.
challenger. To be quite
that's the
honest,
thing.
that's why when I the ice boy, Hunaibo Hotman, a challenger.
Okay.
We don't treat each other as equal. So on an ice boy have it and talk.
You know what I think? I think it's both. It's both the fact that psychologically, as a gent, you're sitting, you're thinking, ish. And then on the other hand, there are people who are my friends who think Valerie, if I'm going to come and cry to them, they're going to feel Valerie, I am a part. So it's both psychological, as in you think in that way, whereas it isn't the case. You can go to your boy and he'll actually take you serious. And there are cases where gents just are generally like that. To say, we're going to laugh at you immediately when you come to us and you mention certain things that are just not sitting well with you. So,
but yeah, I think.
So now my best solution, man, because I used to be a person who's engaged with sports and working out. If it's on top of my list, I know if hoiti maybe ice boy hoiti kapag 3 minutes nuru humang that frustration and anger, I'm gonna take it out. I feel like there's a reason why machite soon as bambombile kapag wherever. The first point they wanna fight.
They wanna fight.
They want some form of
control.
Channel control. The GBV, there's a reason why it's so high.
Yes.
And the reason machita that I'm bayet
it's because those are the people they spend more time with.
They have no outlets as well.
Okay.
Like meaning they don't have channels of release.
Of releasing
frustration, anger, emotions.
Yeah.
So the best way they release it is by
just becoming physical.
Yeah. So gym allows you to release all that. Not only do you deal with the emotions of being maybe dumbbells, bench press. I'm thinking about that. While I'm actually calming down. I'm calming down. And I feel like the more fit your body and mind is, the better you'll be able to handle challenges that come your way.
So as much as that is a very good way to just channel that bad energy and just trying to calm yourself down, what now happens to the guy who doesn't like gym?
No, because remember what happens now. We just share recommendations. Not everything will work for everyone.
The reason I'm also saying that, I'm just trying to come back to the fact that I feel like we need to start developing a culture where men just start speaking, you know?
I was
To
about
say-
to ask.
But where do you start? That's
I was about to ask Hori, isn't it? Because if it works for everyone else in terms of the speaking boldly and say whatever that's frustrating you, because there's nothing that feels like actually saying it, Hori, this is what frustrates me. That's why we have counselors, therapists, and all of these people, right? Isn't it the men are supposed to go through the same thing? Just find your counselor, just find a therapist, and just say these things to them. Isn't it men have to speak more, just like everyone else?
okay.
That needs to
Not
speak.
personally.
Like from a human perspective element, I totally agree. To say,
and I disagree.
Okay.
So not personally, ne, I don't like speaking about my problems when I have
Me too, by the way.
true. But you know why? Because that's how you've been conditioned.
No. I don't mind speaking about them, but not before I've dealt with them.
Okay.
It's similar with my wins. I don't like speaking about, hey, my chance. There's a possibility I might get 1, 2, 3. I'd like to speak about it once I've
Once
got
it has happened, yeah.
Go on, take it, G. Look what I got.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, dog. I've been working for it for the past 6-10 months. You understand? So, similar with my problems, I don't like to speak about it until I've dealt with it, but guarantee somewhere or another it will come out. Just not directly. So. Then GR 1, 2, 3. LSG so. LSGR 1, 2, 3. Then it's maybe when I'm stuck and I want a way forward, then I go deal with my problem. If I'm in a crossroad where genuinely I can't do with it alone, then I can feel like a G. Fuck, bro, I have a problem. This is what I'm faced with.
But now, that's how you deal with it. Which can, so where do you draw the limit? Where does the next person draw the limit? Because that very limit where you say, now I've tried all ways to deal with this matter. Now I'm going to go to G and speak to G. The next person, when they reach that point, because they've told themselves that I want to resolve this on my own, the next step is not to speak to G, is to now commit suicide, like you just mentioned. You know what I mean? So how do we now create a way to now get the gents to actually be more open? Because I feel like what you are saying, that's how you are handling it as a strong individual. But you must remember, I don't even want to say strong individual, because now it sounds like I'm making the next person
Weak. Okay,
weak.
so
But we all have different, let me rather say, we all have different ways of dealing with things. And
Yeah.
we all have our limits. Your limit might be different to mine, but you must also remember our journeys are not the same.
So as much as I don't speak about my problems before I deal with them,
yeah.
I'm not scared to speak about them when I don't have a solution.
Okay.
I've came to you numerous of times, Kiri. Dog, this is my situation. I don't get 2 cents. The LSG, same thing. In fact, sometimes LSG would feel, no, dog, when you're having a problem, speak.
True.
Like one thing I like about Onamachi, and sometimes you can hold each other accountable. Or you fucking up, boy, became like a dog, a problem, yeah. Okay, but why are you quiet all along?
But that, the part that you say you're fucking up, that is already building to a solution. That means somebody has now come to you to
The
speak to
brotherhood,
you.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, ne,
It's not easy.
it's not easy, ne,
It's not
but
easy.
as a cheater, ne,
That's what we're trying to break.
Yeah.
That not easy part. Because look, we're able to talk to each other about everything else, but your problems. Control.
You know what you guys are saying. I have a same problem as you, ne? For an example, as my father passed away like a month or 2 ago, right? If it was not for you guys hearing it from work, I don't think I would have told you.
That's what I actually told him to say.
I was definitely the reason why you guys didn't see anyone from my personal life at home. It's because I didn't say it to anyone.
You know,
Probably I was
you're-
gonna say it to you guys when I have to now. No, I have to now drop an episode. I was just gonna tell you guys that. Listen,
I buried my
this is what
father last
happened.
week.
So I don't have time to do this thing because now I'm grieving, right? And I have all these things that I need to plan for the funeral.
And
that was the only time you guys were going to hear about it.
you know, funny
Otherwise,
thing,
I was never gonna say, "Hey, my gents, this is what happened." I don't know how to do that.
and now that
it's
he
not in
mentions
me.
this, funny thing is that I think Kagiso heard it from someone in the thingy
Yeah.
and in the team, and he told me, and I was like, "How? Yana Lesego, why?" But in that same Lesego, why, it kicked in my head to say, okay, he's a gent. He feels like he wants to handle this on his own. He feels like he doesn't want the emotional support. And I also actually, I think I remember mentioning to him to say he feels like he can hold this on his own. He doesn't need the emotional
It also
support
speaks on.
and so on.
I remember you
But-
guys tried to get hold of me on the phone.
Yes.
I can't.
You couldn't answer.
I can't.
But this is,
I don't
you
know
must
how
remember,
to.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
It is
I can't sit
overwhelming.
and listen to someone pass
However,
out the condolences. I don't know
this
how
is-
to react to that.
this is a build-up.
No, ke tshweu tjong hore, ha o le monyane, we were never groomed how to deal with emotions.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
We
can't cry.
when I hold like,
And-
boy, mshimane halle.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
cry. And
I
then
know ngwanyana,
now when
my
you're
baby,
older,
itlamo,
you
itlamo.
can't talk about it.
Understand?
Because when you talk, you're looked at as a...
I might be under correction because I'm not a woman. I can only speak based on experiences.
Yeah.
But I believe the reason women can speak on their emotions but not actually deal with their emotions logically because they were not taught how to deal logically with it. Whenever we can be called to order
Yeah.
without any hard feelings.
True.
Like you guys have reprimanded me more than once. You're like, nah, why are you fucking up here? And it's not that, no, it doesn't come with those talks. That's why Bungata, my gents, after fighting, they become friends.
Yeah.
Setting of, oh, fuck, you actually put me to order.
Right, yeah.
Whereas in someone wasn't able to do that. I understand. But I think once we get to a position where, because it's also difficult to carry my emotions, underlying he's gunning for me.
He's gunning
Because
for
if
Yeah.
if I shaba machita Gopola once Dame Dash in Kilabua are basically in a group of gents, all those gents want to be king.
Okay.
No one wants to serve that king.
Yeah.
So meaning who if right now LSG key leader,
Yeah.
just know amongst us,
Yeah.
we will also be gunning for the same position.
Okay.
So we will be challenging each other one
So
way
we are,
or
we are,
another. So
we are built to
To be competitive.
that's
Yeah.
why Tamalao, if you really look at family dynamics, it's difficult for Tamalao to lower
give
enough,
you-
but your mother can do
will
that.
be able to. Yeah.
Yo,
True.
Papa, you're happy guys.
Okay.
Yo, Ntatom can say 1-2-1-2, but you'll never hear your father, hey, mommy, it's a 1-2-1-2. He's gonna die with it.
Yeah.
Because now, that's about it. You can't have two bulls in one cry.
Yeah.
Because it's a challenger. Once kids about
bump heads,
the LSG in, it's very the unfortunate thing, man. It's sad because I don't have a solution to that question. But the unfortunate thing is not everyone has the goodness for you at heart. That's about 80% of people that your problems don't care.
Don't care.
Then the other 20%, or let's say the 10%, want to use it against you, or whatever the case is. The stats that go on and Twitter, but it's very few people that will listen to you. But okay, let's see how to deal with it. But as Ocho, sometimes you can just go to a perfect stranger, like a therapist, a psychologist, and if you have the financial means. And I mean, on organizations that for people who don't have financial means.
Yeah. I was about to actually touch on the financial part of it, especially after Lesego mentioned the whole therapist and so on, because those do come with a lot of financial.
I just have a quick question before we move away from this topic, right?
Sure.
Is it not a thing of for men dealing with all of these things that they have to deal with? Is it not a question of there's a lot of expectations from a man because from the society? From men.
There's also a lot of expectations for women.
Okay.
The problem is, how do we deal with it? It's finally, I've read a quote where they say, everyone has problems. It's how you deal with those problems that differentiate you from other people. So, that's why I'm we don't know the challenges you go through.
Some of the expectations I'm talking about, they're already expecting, you're not supposed to cry about whatever shit that you're going through. You are supposed to be the head of the family. You're supposed to be the responsible one. You're supposed to make sure who the household is.
But how did our forefathers deal with that? Because that's always been the foundation of being a man.
Yeah.
So as Kechu, like now we three,
Yeah.
we can have a brotherhood, or if you have a problem, we solve your problem.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the ideal way to go about it. And I just generally feel like that's the approach that men should also just start taking.
Okay,
Because
on a vague response, ne?
Yeah.
On a vague response, let's don't go with it generally. You don't have to say how you deal with your problems, ne? But how do you deal with your problems?
like
Yeah.
as an individual, not generally.
You don't have to write them down or say them down to the T.
But generally, how do you
Generally,
deal
how
with
do you
your
deal with your
problems?
problems?
With my
'Cause
problems.
now I deal with them by hitting the gym. Either hit the road and run, kapa ke lata di TP. Then after I work out, I can sit down and introspect and like, where am I fucking up? Or where am I failing? Or where am I improving? Because once then, emotions are neutral, anger, whatever, mindset is neutral. I'm in a position where I can think thoroughly and clearly. When I as a cheater, how do you deal with the problems now? SG.
Nah, bro. Like, I think most of the time, and this is just so messed up because it's not really dealing with your problems. It's just temporarily escaping them. Because in most cases, we don't really deal with our problems. You're just temporarily escaping them. Because I think
So you find an alternative.
80% of our problems can't necessarily be resolved. So when you say deal with it, that means you're now resolving it. But I hear what you're saying. To say, how do you cope with them?
Yeah.
So,
Sorry for not speaking Harvard English, though.
no, get out of here.
But you get the question.
But I do get the question. And that's also a bit of a concern because this is what actually creates the build up because you temporarily look for a solution, but the error or the issue is actually still there. But what I would normally do is I take walks. I either take a walk, and get into just spaces that are going to just make me feel like, okay, I'm with people. Like I think company, and this is something that I never used to actually do, but I think I figured this out less than 2 years ago to say company does actually make a big difference in dealing with your issues. As much as your people might not
Company, you mean
know.
people that you surround yourself with.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's my first point to say company actually does make a difference in temporary. I'm still going to say temporarily because some of them just don't get resolved. You're going to come back to it, but it reduces the level of maybe stress that I might be in at the time. You see, company, and then you don't need to necessarily know about my shit, my problems. Just being around you, laughing, crackling, whether we drink or not, but your company gets me to escape. And by the time I get back home, that worry that was on 90% is now on 60.
You know what's funny, ne? It's a question when
Sure.
LSG, ne? Have you noticed my chance about they speak about their problems without speaking about their problems.
Yeah.
Yo, yo, bro, it's a busy. Fuck. Yo, wanna look at hard time, but I can't come kelelong. What's it?
Yeah.
1 minute, so 1 minute, so yes, name it, so exact.
Yeah.
But you know, 1, 2, 3.
You see?
You understand? You still
So
feel like a problem,
that-
but tell a solution without actually shedding a tear.
Without
about
even-
it.
yeah.
Without
Without even telling them the
Understand?
situation. Yeah, true.
She's thinking I feel like, oh, talk. Yo, last month, Nick, about, yo, Nick, madama, ada. Kasi travi, you know, sit kachuna joang,
Yo,
kito
fine.
bedi lights joang. Mawatake, kachuna 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. LSG Kanako is experiencing the same problem. He's writing mental notes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, okay?
This
Let
is
me
what I
try
should do.
this. Pang
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
Oh, sning LSG, I will let Jill citing Abraham experiencing the same thing you
Yeah.
experience.
True.
This is my situation. And kachuna joang. Why as machita mang have a problem ke? That's what one bunga ko makasana wherever once machita bali together. Like about maybe the dates, each person utaka plus 1 year high. Bokel batla balida. I can guarantee you once upon a chance actually PSO.
Yeah.
By it.
There's a conversation. There's a conversation.
Funny enough, they speak about problems without speaking about problems. And more the talk still, solutions are gonna pop by.
Definitely. And for
definitely will.
Probably everyone. For probably everyone.
You know,
and now that you wanted to
No, you can continue.
Okay. Because I wanted to just come back to what you were just mentioning around expectation. And I think it's gonna bring us now to the next topic, which is expectation / black tax. And we had just mentioned that earlier on around the fact that I think men probably experience it more. However, maybe in this new era, there are also women that do actually experience it. But I think generally, expectations,
so the question is, but before kicking out black tax,
okay.
At least you got to cover who I didn't know of dealing with problems.
Yeah, sorry, that's why I didn't want to start with that. Because
how do you deal with your
his feedback?
So now personally, I used to leave a lot in my head, right? I used to overthink shit. And I've had to learn, I don't know how even, but I've had to learn to leave out of my head, right? When I say leave in my head or in my mind is that I used to make a big deal out of normal problems that everyone else can go through, right? For an example, if maybe I have an issue with money, then I'm thinking to myself, shit, okay, or all of these things. That time, everyone is going through the same shit.
Sure.
Like looking at that one problem that you're dealing with, and then you think it's a big deal, and it's not. Literally, it's not. Everyone is going through the same shit, right? I don't know how I do it, but now I don't even speak about my problems. It's just that now I have a different mindset in terms of looking at situations, right? Now I can look at problem. I can see a problem coming. Sometimes I see a problem coming and then I'm telling myself, holy, it's not going to get here. Some of the problems, you just see them when they're here, right? But if it's a problem that I can see it's coming from far, then I know, holy, listen, I need to deal with that problem before it gets here because it's going to affect me in a major way, right? But dealing with problem, I don't talk to people. Well, when I say I don't talk to people, I don't share my problems with people. I don't look for advice. In my mind, I know, Hori, I can actually solve this problem because normally I'm an ideas person. I come up with a lot of ideas. So I always come up with ideas of dealing with these problems that I'm coming across, right? And half the time, all of these problems that I come across, they end up solving themselves in future. I don't know how, but everything else usually works out for the best at the end, right? I can see it's a problem now, but maybe tomorrow when I wake up, this thing, now I have a solution for this thing.
So I think you can visualize your solutions. You can't verbalize them. I don't know how I deal with it, but I just deal with it. You just have a roadmap and a coping mechanism. It's just you can't voice it or word it out.
But now, what is your coping mechanism? As in, like, fine, we are aware that you don't speak about it. We are aware that, yes, you might sometimes see something coming from, a distance, and you can see that this is going to be a problem, and you resolve it probably, or you counterattack it before it even comes to you, or before it even arrives. But now, in an event where now the issue has arrived, how do you cope with it? So he said gym, I said company. How do you deal with it in terms of
one liner basically?
In terms of what you do to deal with it, as much as, like I said, not deal with it but cope with it.
So because I love music a lot, right? I listen to a lot of music.
Okay.
And besides listening to a lot of music, I don't tolerate movies. And I don't especially the series, the West. I can't stay through episodes, right?
Just forever, yeah.
So music is my thing, right? And I listen to a lot of music, and sometimes I listen to the same shit from 6-7 years ago over and over again up until I get over it, and then I move on to something else that I'm also gonna over listen to. But now that maybe for the last 6-7 months, I have been exploring this creative thing within me. So I put a lot of things together. Sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe we need a new intro on the podcast. Then I come up with some of the things and see if I can put something together. So I get busy with being creative and trying to create something.
Okay.
So I try to create something the whole time.
So that has become
I'm always trying to create something. So that maybe that's, if it's gym for you, it's being creative for me.
Okay, I get you. It makes sense because some people paint, some people make music.
It's artistic, It's just another,
Because the gym is a form of art to some people. I get you. So, whole question here, the question posed, Mona, is how can I deal with black text as a first generation breaker in the family?
Oh, yes.
So if maybe my old lady, my Krisa, and whoever haven't went to school, and when you're the first person I learn skilla and actually make a breakthrough in the family, how do you deal with black text? Because now Shebanili Bomchana, Shebanili siblings, Shebanili Kontu, to renovate, Shebanili life house, Shebanili Medi, for some, Shebanili Nosi. How do you deal with all those?
You know, for me, and I'll tell you, I think if maybe there's one thing that connected me and you is that we have the same responsibilities within our family structures, right? You know, when I okay, let me park that aside for now. The black text thing and the being the one that everyone else looks at, I don't look at it as a black text thing, right? I think it starts with understanding your position within the family. I'll make an example. I'm the last born, Komamaka, right? Well, my father too. I'm the last born, Komamaka. My mother has 4 kids, right? My late sister was born in 1975, and then my brother, then my other sister, and then it's me. So it's 2 boys, 2 girls. I'm the last born Kohai in terms of the family structure, but I'm the one that has had the most stable jobs. That time I was born later compared to all of them, right? I started working straight out of after high school, right? When I say understanding your position, I understand why I have been the one that's been working for so long. Also, I have this responsible thing within me, right? I understand I need to work hard so that I can make sure right? If maybe any of my siblings are not working, right? I need to work hard. I used to, a lot of people, I used to tell a lot of people, I work with people that earn the same salary as me, but they have cars and everything. And I can't have those things because I have different responsibilities compared to them, right? Some of them you find that maybe the mom and dad are working.
I see on your point, ne? One thing I hate, but about KG, the responsibility.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I hate that because at the end of the day, I'm just as broke
our
as someone
struggles are different.
Who has kids, ne?
Yeah.
But our struggles are different. Now I'm looking at the whole family situation.
Yeah.
Whereas when I leading
Exactly. They think
one understand.
Yeah, they think a child is the biggest issue ever. Whereas there are other problems that other people are facing that don't have
the
children.
whole household.
Sure. Anyway, just to revert back,
I don't even have a hard time making people understand how we don't come from the same backgrounds. And this is way before I even have a kid. Like I had a kid like when I was 29, right? So I spent my entire 20s, even now, looking after family. And also I don't look at it as a black text thing. I understand my position.
Sure.
My siblings have not had stable jobs like I have. Right? That's me understanding my position. And also, I've always regarded myself as a breaker of generational curses. I've always told myself, when as much as I have a 9 to 5, I'm doing the other shit on the side.
Yeah.
I've always told myself, now I'm going to be the first millionaire in the family. Yeah. I've always told myself, the nephews, my kids, and everyone else that's coming behind me in terms of generations, they're not gonna have to go through the same shit I went through. So I'm going to make sure I work hard. I have all these businesses and all these millions so that they can come and work for family instead of now being or having to go through the same thing. So meaning I understand my position.
You know,
I was put in this position. That's because there's a lot of people, they're in the same position. When I say in the same position, Muchwateng was pana, everyone else maybe kontlung as pani, was pana and everything else, but they're not doing, or then abashimi the kontlung.
Sure.
They just eating their money and everything.
And they didn't fix anything. So what you're saying holds a lot of water because I do the same thing also. Yes, sometimes it does creep up. Fuck, how far would I be if I was in a fortunate circumstance? Yeah? But also I look at it, and I keep on all the sacrifices that, never mind my parents, because but my siblings, they've done. Because we tend to forget,
Yeah. True.
like as Ocho, when you've held a stable job, but I'm sure your siblings have held you down.
Yeah.
Fuck. They actually came in clutch for you. There's been times, my sister's a graduate, but I said about the retailing and whatnot. Yo, sister, I want to ask Kawara. Akina jean. Akina teki. I can't say because no security graduate. Now I work, they didn't work.
Yeah. True.
They've made sacrifices to make sure I'm in a better position. It's just they still not in a better position.
Yeah.
But they've sacrificed for you. So now the way I console myself is, it is fucked up. Especially when you're fending for someone who's an adult. But it's that thing of, they didn't wish to be in the position that they are in. And then now I'm one person is, lovely family, I try to gauge you. What have you done? Because there are leeches out there.
True.
So I was just, now that you mentioned that. Sorry, I'm sorry. Are you,
True.
are you
And
done?
just before you go on, true, because I think the term of black tax, that's where it comes from, right? It didn't come from the people that felt like they need to do this for the family. It came from the people, maybe they were going through the people that are being leeches in the family.
Sure.
So that's what I was actually about to say. To say the term, black tax actually comes from the abusing side of family members who you started fending for, but now they have just relaxed and not felt the need to get anything to contribute because of the fact that Dagis is doing it, Nessil is doing it, Huitz is doing it, it's fine, I don't need to, I can chill back on one. It's a bit of a sensitive topic to really play around because in most cases, those people really need you, you know?
True.
In some cases, people are just relaxed. And yes, you are also stealing from yourself as an individual who is, I'm going to use the term victim for just lack of a better term, you know. You as the victim of black tax, you could be, like you mentioned, you could be going through or doing so many other things to maybe build you to speed up your career path, your road to wealth, or road to just betterment, you just living better. But because you've got this particular responsibility, you know, everything else is just on hold. And I think, you know, black tax can also just be very broad, you know. Sometimes it's just not, sometimes it's just not like your family. It's just also people that are very close to you, friends, you know. I remember speaking to a friend of mine, you know, Kokasi, and the guy works, and he was telling me, like, you know, sometimes it's so tricky coming back from work, you know. I feel like it's from 7 o'clock in the evening. As I'm maybe walking in the neighborhood, and it's that thing, Buddha, Enjama ntwana mfito yenze one nje.
Yeah, she has something.
She has something. You get what I mean? And yeah, that can frustrate a lot of people, you know, because they're sitting there, they're thinking, yo, machita mfetu. And sometimes machita are now asking me for money that I don't have. And if I say I don't have, now snacks. You know what? And it becomes now a habit. Because in most cases, well, it's that thing either usiaye nkauza or usiaye yepi.
Yeah.
I'm taught, you know?
You know, with that thing, one thing also I realized about being the person that has been given, because I feel like it's the universe and the ancestors and the God that have given you the responsibility of actually taking care of home, right?
But do you think that okay, sorry, let me just get you to explain it.
So the other thing that you the person that has been given that whole responsibility thing, you also need to have, you shouldn't be too kind. Because that's where people see, oh, this person is giving. Yes. So now I can actually abuse.
Yeah.
Well,
that's where the abuse
you
comes
shouldn't
in.
be too kind, especially if machita go kasi, and then they start saying, she has something. You tell them, manila, come on. Come on.
But now, it's not that easy. Not everybody's going to have it easy to say.
That's why I get a thick skin.
Because it builds hostility. And nobody wants to now be the guy that is.
You forget something.
As a dick. You
forget one thing.
Yes, I can rather be a dick, my nigga.
Yes, you'd rather be a dick, man. I'm now referring to people who also find it very difficult, because you can also be a dick to your family and say, fuck it.
Let me say, I'll take it up,
I'm looking at it from both sides.
Okay.
I'm looking at it also from a person who suffers.
Let me tell you
who's not able to say, tech.
Let me tell you a personal experience.
Okay. Who, me?
I learned from G. I not generally,
yeah.
I had a trouble saying no growing up. You understand that? So if no, I'll just keep quiet.
Oh.
Then when I can't no.
Sure.
No. You didn't hear it out my mouth, but you see it already.
Yeah, this guy is not going. Yeah.
You understand? Where I learned how to, like, the confidence and to G and as I mind is spanning Mutafita, get the fuck out of here. And 5 minutes later, get the fuck out of here. This guy now, although he's very loving, very giving, very compassionate now, he can be a dick. And I say that respectfully, because if you piss him off,
sure, you've crossed the line.
You've crossed the line. You understand? And him being older to me, and I've said it, like, I understand.
Sure.
I can say, shit, so this is how you conduct yourself. You understand? As LSG archer, you need to develop a thick skin.
True.
As a man, you need to know you can't be fucked with something.
But what happens to those that don't have that?
They need to develop balls, bro.
Because
you don't try to.
The world is not kind.
The world isn't kind. You're right.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
It is.
So if I want to see moments of weakness, as in, let's say, Bankoveti Paul, Antoine, go get your fucking ball. Because unfortunately, there's some things as a man you can't shy away or run away from them. You need to deal with them.
Yeah.
You understand? Because at the end of the day, the foundation of being a man is to provide and to protect.
Yeah.
If you're unable to do that for yourself, how can you do that for your kids or for your wife?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
The world is not kind, guys. Well, I think I've once said it on one of the episodes where I usually feel sorry for the people that are too kind. And the people basinang
that's why I get to say, what happens to now the person that does not have that courage to say, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
And I usually see these stories of people saying, they're just demanding and demanding. You know,
a lot of them, bro.
Even though I have the responsibility of actually taking care of the household, right? My mom has never said, ever.
There's some toxic families.
There are some toxic families, bro. Like Linda, my mother, my mother has never said, give me this.
Yes.
My mother has never had that entitlement. Same thing with my father. He's also never had that entitlement, and guy this much. Actually, my father raised me to say, I'm doing what I'm doing for you, and I'm not expecting anything in return, which I
Exactly.
feel is the way
I
to
think
raise
we're
your
very
children.
fortunate.
You know,
I
we
think
are very
we are
fortunate.
very fortunate.
However, I've encountered a lot of people in my life who have parents who demand
Dog,
to
they
say,
demand,
hey,
dog.
Wena, give me this.
And that's why
I
you need to develop a
raised
thick
you.
skin, bro.
You know, one thing I've realized in just parents, and this is where the black culture might be actually, it's like a black culture, black text. I think this is where black text might be stemming from. The guilt in the victim is coming from "Ke go godisitse." I raised you. So the fact that I raised you, I put you through school, I fucking put you on my back. Now it's time for you to pay me back.
That time I walk up, by the way.
That's the response that we, or not even we, but that people or victims should have to say, look, I did not ask to come to this world. I'm also doing everything in my power to fend for myself.
Yeah.
So I cannot necessarily now be brought into this world to be a slave, because that's practically what you're saying. If you're going to tell me, and I think that's a very good thing to actually also say to the street squad and everybody else who's going to be listening to this, to say, if anybody in your family is going to come to you and say, then you have every right to go back to them and say, I did not ask to come to this world, and therefore I do not deserve to be treated as a slave.
It boils down to what we're saying. Be able to say no, bro.
True.
Sometimes it's not even your parent, bro. Uncle, ako tshwanetse Spanish sale. No palong paela poto.
Exactly.
Uncle, poto, new guy
Yeah.
poto. Next month to bat like this.
Yeah.
Next month to bat like this. Just because they did you a favor, out to last span,
Una
whatever.
kana go mokolota.
Wrong choice.
Yeah.
Wale bala ho, you have to work every day
Hey.
to get there.
Yo.
But on a lighter note, bro, hey, because I see these conversations are becoming heavy, ne? There's one question here that's posed by once you've locked down a hun or a girl, ne?
Yeah.
What's the best date ideas that is also budget friendly or budget efficient for both of us to enjoy?
Okay. So just to touch on Kagiso's question and where this question is coming from. So we are obviously having different online platforms where people are also able to just privately inbox us as the Global Streetz Live crew. And some of them requested that they become anonymous. So this is a question also coming from, or some of these questions are actually coming from people who requested that they become anonymous in us answering their questions. So for the street squad, please don't be surprised where these questions are coming from. Yeah, some of them just decided to be anonymous. But yeah, back to Gagiso's question on the...
So for me, ne, I'm a simple guy, but I love a bit of activity, especially when it comes to dates.
Okay.
Right? I love bowling. And also a bit of activity. It gives you an opportunity of, because if you're going to go on a date with a hun, right? You're going on a date with this hun. Already you're going on a date with this hun because you like this hun, right? If you're going to do something which is a bit of a challenge that you guys can challenge each other, for an example, like a bowling type of thing.
Okay.
That's where you can slip in some of the things that you want from this hand. For an example, you just tell her, listen, whoever that's going to win on this bowling thing, or if I win, this is a challenge. If I win on this bowling thing, you're going to give me a kiss. The first kiss is going to come out of this thing.
Okay.
So if it's a challenge thingy, then you presenting something that is going to be a prize to you, which she's going to have to do. Obviously, she's either going to say, okay, sharp or whatever. And also, I'm assuming if you guys are going on a date, that means she likes you too.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Something a bit physical for me. If you want to go on like movies and stuff, I just feel like movies are so like 2000. Yeah. And we're just going to be sitting there like this.
I think it would be better for movies to come at a later stage.
Yeah, maybe second
For
date
me,
or whatever.
movies, ne, is not going to the cinema anymore.
Netflix and chill.
We've invested in a good TV,
That's gonna
streaming.
lead to something else.
That's if you play your cards right. If you play your cards right, it's going to lead to that. But I'm saying, you have a good resolution TV.
Yeah.
You can stream whatever movie that you can do,
Yeah.
whether piracy or not. Scratch the piracy out. But yeah, movies will be the last stage if they
Yes.
go into a
True.
ride.
Yeah.
But for me, the first base will be a breakfast.
Yeah.
It's cost efficient.
It is.
Most breakfasts
Yeah.
are under $100.
You are so right. Yeah.
And it allows for you guys to engage, to get to
Yeah.
know each other. Especially if it's someone
In your total sobriety.
I understand. And it's someone you find if you haven't like got to know.
Yeah.
Then you can say, it's a cool, it's a guy,
Yeah.
blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. You can say, okay, this is a hand I can actually invest in. And if it's good from the breakfast point, then you can go to lunch. Lunch can be a physical activity. Because it's real.
Yeah.
Then you can go bowling or
Plus, your mind is still fresh. You just woke up.
One
So,
ton.
yeah, you know.
if lunch you still win, then you can go movies or whatever to dinner and what. Because me, essentially, what I do, I free up my whole day for the day if it goes
Yeah.
right. I understand.
Yeah.
And if from breakfast point of view it goes wrong, then you can say, "Fuck, she's not the one for me."
And
Then
just say I need to go somewhere.
Yeah. Then essentially you haven't broke bank because breakfast is cost efficient.
Yeah.
So for me, it's that thing. Also, the reason why for the physical activity, I just need you to be frustrated a bit.
Yes. Yeah, I was about to touch on that to say, I
just
think
need-
something that
How to
not
deal
too
with
much,
problems.
that
Let me
involves a
see
little bit
how
of
you are.
competition.
Yeah.
May also just, give you an idea of who this person is, because now they're no longer focusing on trying to impress you. They're now focusing on the activity that they are trying to win or to complete by obviously winning,
Yeah.
against you or whoever that might be a competitor at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So another question. Oh, I didn't check.
Aso Arabic khuiswa.
I haven't checked.
Richie, I think both of you raised points that I would have probably gone for as well.
What if straight hoteling?
They think at the hotel.
You think that's a task? That's the activity.
Food. Most visited app, Airbnb.
Yo. Shit. Must put a passcode on my phone. I think, you've both raised like very good points. Like, I think breakfast, cost efficient. I think the main question was just something that is cost efficient that will also just be very comfortable, Yeah, I think I'm out of what I would actually add to that as an activity. But picnic is
I also love
something.
that.
I know it's old school,
I also love
but
that.
it's very cost efficient.
It is.
You go to the nearest park that you guys can both get to. I'm sure mother, auntie, sister has some sort of
basket.
blanket. Take an old cooler box or a basket if granny has, if you still have granny available. And yeah, you grab the normal items. I mean, for instance, you need one drink, If you're both alcohol drinkers, then yeah, you'll probably buy wine. I think that's the cheapest alcohol you'll get.
And
The cheapest
palatable to
wine
most people.
and palatable to most people. And there's different ranges. You get the sweets wines, and you also get the dry wines that are just a bit bitter. So that is already like
And I like the
Cheapest-
fact that it's intimate.
60 years,
You get to
60
know what
bucks.
you're dealing with.
That's the cheapest probably wine that you'll get,
Finger foods.
And then you can get your finger foods, chips.
Yeah.
Chips. And this can either be normal packeted crisps, or you get your fried chips from your local fish and chips, whatever. And this is I'm now going budget restricted because I just feel like love should not just be, restricted to those that are
under pressure. No.
wealthy.
To make
I'm telling you. And that's why I'm going deep into just trying to budget on tour,
Sure.
And wine, you grab, you can even actually, I don't want to say chips, make something at home. Either you
can actually.
yeah, make something as a gent.
Definitely can.
Make something at home, and it's not, you don't need to be a chef like I am. to make a sandwich at home. It's as simple as going to buy bread and you buy maybe ham. Go check out, see they sell
chicken
the
mayo
ham, like
and
maybe
whatever.
3 hams. You get cheese separate. You don't even have to buy the whole package of cheese. You get 2 slices of cheese, ham, mayo, maybe tabate and kontlung, and that's just now maybe the
Sometimes
sandwich.
they make specials on pizza. You get a box of pizza
Exactly.
for like $80.
You get one,
Yes.
or pizza. You get one. Exactly.
150 already, so it's sharp.
Mfana.
And
Cost effective.
You're sitting there with your person to be or whatever, and you're just chilling.
Mfana, wabona the picnic idea is the best.
The picnic idea is probably
and I don't
the best.
think it'll get old.
It
And it
shouldn't
cannot.
get old, but
It cannot. Also, the environment and
yes,
the
the
greenery
environment
and everything.
I think it allows you to just really interact on a more comfortable space because you're
Exactly.
sitting down there. There's not a lot of outside factors.
wasn't-
When you're at a mall and you're maybe walking towards a movie or one Gucci store, the partner is looking at that bag, and now
Okay, bona
Anton.
bona goitsi a feta a tshwere bouquet of flowers o vile misses.
Anton,
O bona o mong a tshwere di bucket tsa di eng.
hey, dog, there's a lot of pressure.
Ke bona eo. O bona motho o plomang le yena ko kaso. Ntona yami. Who ntona yami.
Yo, and abana wo batho
Abana
ba.
yona. Ha ntona yami.
That's pressure.
Manje mawuhla kamnandi wena musi.
Awushaka
Kana
mnandi.
kuwike.
Sometimes babutsa ka ex ya. Ntona
Manje
manje
lawyer.
manje usibongile uva. Ntona maswa.
And that's when they want to fuck over shit, eh?
And you know.
Yo, and one thing I've noticed with gents that are in that
niggas.
position, you're in your most vulnerable position. You don't want to react dumb because you're trying to still be nice,
Of course,
and look
best-
nice to
best
this.
behavior.
And how can Tiba girl? It's gonna seem like she's still in the picture.
You get what I mean?
I mean, how can Tiba guy?
Yes. So yeah, I
Plus,
think,
you know niggas can embarrass.
yeah, hey, niggas.
Ntona yami manje usibongile kanti
Manje
uvama
futhi ukanti manje kwenzakala.
uphethe insimbi. Ma usibongile naye.
So there's another question that links to this one. It says, how do I know I have secured the right person for me?
Yeah.
I presume it's a lady because now I can't
That's a
teach gents
beautiful-
talk.
that's
It's a key talk.
Yeah, it is a gent talk. So everything is just, securing the gents. How do I know I have the right lady? It's honestly very tricky.
Man, the fuck up, bro.
That's a very tricky question, because now we are now
I know the question is tailor-made,
on a
but
testing basis.
on average, how do you see someone is actually considerate towards you, or is not inconsiderate, or is compassionate, or has a good heart towards you? I understand the question is tailor-made because the right person for you won't necessarily be the right person for me. But
Yeah,
on average, just scraping the surface, I'm sure all white people have common traits. As in Cheetah, what would you look out for?
I just feel we're human beings, and human beings are generally people of emotions, emotions. So when you like a woman, you will do everything to make her aware without also being obvious that you like her. Anton.
Sure.
And I just feel that it is the same with women. When a woman really likes you, they will show that they like you. Anton. So I know from a gent's perspective, we immediately, when a question like, how do I know she's the one? The next question is going to be, is she using me for my money or is she really into me?
Yeah.
That's the next question, to say, is she really into me? And if you are a gent that is coming from money, it's going to be more difficult for you to determine.
It's very difficult,
Anton.
actually.
If you're a gent that is just normal, either struggling or just living a normal life, it might just be slightly easier to tell. Because if you've got nothing and she still down with you and she, you know, she's there, then let's call it the one.
You know, for me, ne, it's very easy. Well, it's not so easy, but it is easy, right? For me, I don't. First of all, if I'm going for this hand, right? Obviously, I like her because the first thing that I'm seeing, I don't know her, but I like what I see. First things first, right? If I'm gonna go for her, she doesn't have to do a lot for me to be actually about her that much, right? Because right now, if I like her just by seeing her, I'm just liking what I see.
Yeah.
I still need to explore more.
Yeah.
There's more towards this person than what I see, right? If she's kind, for me, being kind is the first thing, right? And when I say being kind, I think I once saw a post on social media where someone said, Hore, if you fight with your person that you love and you swear at them and you his weaknesses and stuff, mfana, that person doesn't love you, because even when they're angry, they still need to remember who they love you. And if you love someone, you're not gonna be now just because you're angry. Now you
That's true.
Okay. So just to
if she's, for me, if she's kind, dog, being kind is everything for me.
So for me, ne, how do you know you'll have the right person? Ne? Is if that person leaves the relationship, she leaves you in a better position than she found you in. So what that means that whether that person will be in the picture with you in future or not, but before she came in the picture, you were at level 2, now you're at level 4. And if you look at your upgrades, ne, whether it's on an internal basis or external basis, but she had an input in your growth.
My nigga, you know what I'm hearing when you say that? I'm hearing you saying, oh, you can only tell when she's left your life.
No. Sometimes you can see it internally.
yeah, you're right.
So, for example, your mom.
That's exactly what I'm hearing.
Nah. Sometimes, like your mom, bro. Sometimes you play a role. You're like 6 months ago, my old lady would have been 1-2, and it's now coming into fruition. Because now, come get on one or LSG when I hope Blue Millimatchens or 1.5 in a day. We could be doing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And how Shaba 1, 2, 3 AO, it's to upgrade your life.
Okay.
What like, you only have 3 pairs of jeans, bro. Got 1.5 AO. I'm not saying don't go out with the jeans,
You
but
know
they're
those
not
girls.
contributing.
So
You
somebody
don't want
who's,
other fun down.
somebody who's able to guide you into right decisions of your life or right decisions in
Sure.
your life.
Or stop. Now come on, Peter. Oh, yo, baby, it's a rough month. I can't fuck over. I scour. I can't too sleep.
Yeah.
Well, understand that. I'm not saying once she's left, but sometimes during the process, you can see the input she's putting in your life.
You know the other thing, ne? Now that you mentioned that, actually you just light another bulb. The other thing I know about someone that actually is the one, right? You see, if someone wants to take care of you, she's the one. If
And
you
she doesn't make you feel guilty for taking care of you.
So-
you know when someone loves you, ne? Sorry, Nchaka.
Yeah.
You know when someone loves you, they always want to make sure who you're okay.
Sure.
Like their priority about you is making sure who you're okay. Baby, ujile. Okay, kita it's a plan.
Yeah.
Baby, hati le mo wena.
Yeah.
Wena ore, wa itse ke batla gore re reke pizza and whatever. Nah, pizza. Uska wa ra, ke tla bula fridge ke bone gore go na le eng, ke tla paya, save chelete eo.
Yeah.
O tlo need a chelete eo.
Yeah.
Or when someone that wants to actually make your life better.
Yeah.
The reason why I save chelete is because wa unaganela.
Yeah.
And they just want to take care of you. Aba batli gore feel the pressure, now you need to go overboard for them and all of these things.
Sometimes-
they just want to take care of you, dog.
So
You are
sorry.
right, Doc.
Before you proceed, man,
Sure.
I want to come back to Lesego's point about the fighting. So what he initially mentioned, emotions are very tricky to manage. Ne? And I just don't want to take away from the street squad in terms of if any of our street squad are in relationships where there is a bit of
A turmoil.
turmoil, arguments, and you name it. I just don't want to discourage them in the event that their partners have said hurtful things.
Yeah.
We're human beings. We, like I initially said when I started to say, we're people of emotions. And matters of the heart tend to be very difficult to deal with.
Sure.
And this is probably another reason why we are having this conversation from the time we started this particular episode. I just don't want people to think that once your partner is angry and says something mean to you, they do not love you. Because, maybe to an extent, but you must also remember, we learn as we go. We also need correction as human beings. Maybe where now you come from a family where there's a lot of swearing that takes place. And where now,
Which there is, by the way.
it's nothing to
And
you.
I don't swear.
Okay,
Well,
fine. But we're
that's
different
subjective.
as individuals. When not to you, it's nothing. You swear
Oh, yeah.
anything.
So it
To you,
means
it's
nothing
nothing.
to you.
So
It's a
I can
form of
always just say it.
expression.
Sunwa.
But
Untwala hampe, and I'm pissed off at the time.
Yeah.
But deep down, I don't mean that, Msuno. I'm not necessarily swearing you. It's
Nah, dog.
just
But you need to be, when you're in a
true. You need
relationship,
to be considerate, and it's very.
very.
And I'm coming back to the consideration part to say, consideration also comes with learning. To say,
There's a question.
I
that
come
says,
back to you, ne, and I say, Kahiso, yeah,
Mame,
you saw me.
There's a question.
Where were you in that space?
This question was posed to a lady.
Mm-hmm.
Eh? Barry, the man of your household, the love of your life,
Yeah.
quote unquote, the love of your life. You can give him a shit time. You can tell him, hey, fuck you, you ain't shit, you have a small dick and whatnot. Né? But a person who's not shit to you, who's your manager at work, you'll never
You can't tell
them
them
fuck
that. Okay.
I was about to come to that
Who
point.
do you respect more? Why do you give that person more respect than the so-called the love of your life?
You've got a point.
So now,
You've got a
if you
point.
can tame yourself at work,
Why can't you tell me
I was
something?
about to say the same thing. Oh, yes, maybe that's part of your vocab, right? And it means nothing to you. However, there are places where you are able to restrict yourself because you know who you shouldn't
so
cross.
imagine
yourself.
now
that be-
you have daddy issues.
Could that be that thing, Yaring? I'm in my safe space at home, and I'm just speaking like this because I'm
No,
in my
if you're saying
safe
it as
space.
part of something, maybe you're expressing something.
And not
then
directly
your
to that
person
particular
will know for
individual.
That's you. You're not
Okay.
angry, you're just
You're
expressing
just
so for
expressing
example,
yourself,
when you
but
say
not
something,
directing at them.
It's direct to them
There's
now.
a
Okay.
difference to say, fuck that, after you've made a point. Ne?
And then fuck
me
you.
saying, fuck you.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So why at work, ne,
You're not
o kgona ho
able to.
bala mantswe a hao whereby you can think about what you're going to say next,
And
what
then
you're
you
going to
can't
do
at home.
next. But at home you can't. Onka TV, we smash it down. Onke plate, but plate. But the manager that can tell you shit, you ain't not shit.
Yeah.
Without
you can't
me,
do
you're not
that.
shit. I'll just all the fucked up thing in the world. But you'll never do that. So I think it's all about consideration.
Yeah.
And like we conduct as wrong. You can't just think when you have veto power over everyone else.
So consideration,
So
it can be learned.
you know your partner, bruh.
Yeah.
If your partner doesn't eat seafood, then we're not up here prawns and fish and all that. And you just say, baby, I made dinner. Who did you make that for? You're inconsiderate of your partner, knowing very well they're allergic to fish.
Okay.
So, but yeah, just to close this topic, right? The person that loves you guys, even when they're angry, they need to be careful of. You shouldn't just
Defend.
because I'm angry.
Sure.
Now I forget
I
how I
reason
love
to-
you.
Sure.
Now I'm going to be vile as if zonda. You shouldn't. You need but you need to also remember there needs to be a boundary, that you don't cross. Hold on.
Maybe-
this is still
maybe
my person.
boundary is what
I'm
we're looking
angry, but
for,
this
yeah.
is still my person that I love.
Still my person that I love. Okay.
So question, talk, guys, ne? So this might be the last question, looking that we are time constrained.
Okay. Sure.
We have another G talk.
Okay.
Ne? This guy is asking, ne, is that there's a lady in my life, ne, I feel attracted to, and I think she's attracted to me.
Yeah.
How do I make a move without ruining our relationship if she rejects me.
Oh, so I'm assuming they're friends at the stage.
Seems like guy's been friendzoned.
Shit.
Without ruining it.
So it's like, no, there's a lady in your life you speak constantly with, and you guys gel together. You have a lot in common. She likes hip hop, you like hip hop. You talk and make jokes. Not with your partner or not with your exes. And you feel a strong attraction to that person. And you believe they feel a strong attraction to you.
Sure.
So
Again, right now, it's all, what do you say? Not cordial, but what is it? Fuck, I forgot the word.
You're not ill.
You're not ill. But how do you go past the point of saying, you know what, Mang, I think we should take this up a notch.
platonic, yeah.
Yeah, to move out of the platonic relationship into a more intimate relationship. If she says no, and you guys are still good.
So
Hey.
he wants to keep this friendship should it not
Work out.
work out for a relationship that he's thinking should lead to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So from my experience and just observation,
Sure.
I think women are very clear with what they want in any relationship. If you are a friend, you are going to be a friend. If you are a lover, you are going to be a lover. And she will show you in all ways that she wants to either be a friend or she wants to either be a partner to you. Anton. So, okay. And I speak like this, not also leaving out the fact that in some cases, it is very difficult to read. In some cases, that particular individual that you think is interested in you might not be interested in you. And that particular individual that you think is not interested in you might be interested in you.
Ne?
Antoine. So, but generally, it is there. However, in a case where you're just not certain, ne? The safest way to maybe just go about it is engage in questioning her as a third party, meaning it's you and her, but you are now questioning her as a third person or questioning her as a friend.
Sure.
Question her as a friend to say, hey, what do you look like? Have questions around partnership or around
Or to
what
see
she's
if you're
interested
compatible.
in.
But
Firstly,
have you
to
But the
see-
problem is that, sorry, Nchaka, the
Firstly,
problem
to
is
see
that
if she's compatible, but at the same time, I think there will be hints if she is actually interested in you.
sometimes, you know how girls are. Sometimes, but you have the qualities. So sometimes they would say,
that's the question, isn't it?
Yes.
I wish I can have a guy like you. That time
Fucking ruthless, those people.
That time I wish I had a guy like
Have you
you.
seen those
Those
videos, Babu Sabo KL, especially guys have been TikTok. This guy's a perfect person. I wish my husband or my boyfriend could be like him.
Like this.
It's just how much you wear. But you
Yes.
have all the qualities she wants. in a
Mfana, you
man,
tick
just
all the
not you.
boxes. You know, for me to answer your question, dog,
Sure.
I don't think there's a safe way. Even if you can present this thing as, or even if you can jokingly present this thing to her and say, or maybe if you guys agree on one thing, now let's say you're having a conversation because she's your friend, right? You're having a conversation with her and say, and then you guys agree on one thing, or maybe you guys find out, there's one thing that you guys agree on, and then you just present her, just throw it out there and say, "Mara wa bona we are made for each other." And then just see the response there. If maybe she says, yeah, actually we are, then that's when you say, okay, then why don't we make it happen?
I think that's a good one. If she responds and says, no, already show me,
You know what it is.
then you know what I'm fana.
It's not gonna happen.
It's over.
Just throw it out there.
Not gonna
Mara wa bona we made
This
for
is
each
a
other.
sandwich situation, dog. This is a starting date. What about the diski? One part.
1-1, yeah.
1-1. And then whoever scores next, well, we.
yeah.
And it's either you win or you lose,
Yeah.
bruh. Like, you know, once media started about snake,
Sure.
potential. She's no longer gonna be free and open to it.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely she's gonna start drifting away.
Yeah.
The dynamic of the relationship is gonna change.
Yeah.
Understand? Or you might actually say, this is how I feel. It's like, fuck, I've been afraid to say it. That's exactly how I feel.
I feel as well, yeah.
I think from the onset, as soon as whoever starts catching feelings must just be upfront with it.
Just say it.
But ito babatloko no nahana kel onganya LSG and LSG unta jwala mama afitle pe ko kela. Yo, I went on a date. This bongile. Hey, unketsa so. Kel afitle ntlungu fila jwang. Or vice versa. Kel afitle ayo, I went on a date with Hoiti. Hoiti is such a gentleman. Oh, I think I'm falling in love.
That's how you're mad.
But you're right. You say, you know what, man? Maybe if you have feelings for a particular woman, do not
Just say it.
be in the friend zone, because
You're
and
gonna
do not take forever to just make it clear. If you are able to tell her in the first week, tell her in the first week. If you're able to tell her in the first month, tell her in the first month, because anything longer than that, it's just going to be an issue.
How in medicine,
Unless you are in a situation where you initially saw her as a friend, and then as you're learning her, you get to realize that shit, she's actually got the qualities of the woman that you like.
that's why I say, once you develop the feelings, whoever does must say. You know, there's that thing you say,
imagine
rip the bandit off.
Imagine developing feelings after like 2 years.
Bro, it happens.
Yes.
You
Because
know,
there's been success stories where they say, we started off as friends.
As friends, yeah.
And now because we started off as friends, we
We
really
were
know
open to
who
each other.
are.
Yeah.
And once we went in a relationship,
Yeah.
and we saw, we're like, fuck, this can actually work. And they went to marriage, and 10 years later, they're still happily married.
Yeah.
you know, I've once had a relationship like that, right? Actually, that one I didn't see it coming. So worked with this girl, became friends. Well, I left the company, but we stayed in contact and we spoke here and there. Because she was also like a hip hop fan and I'm a hip hop fan. So that's where our common thingy, something that brought us
Connection,
together, right? That was the connection between the two of us. And then the relationship with the baby daddy like collapsed, right?
Sure.
And then we found ourselves speaking every day. And then one day I was like, fuck it. Why have we not met? Because the last time I saw you was like a couple of months ago at that company that you and I were working at, right? And then we met, and then after meeting, and then it was on, right? The relationship. And that one, I didn't see it coming. And I was single at that time. And I didn't even think, oh, okay, this is now going to be my person. I just saw myself speaking to them. The other thing I want to say is that,
But just before you move to the other thing you're speaking of,
yeah.
you're speaking to what I'm saying, that rip the bandit off. You asked the question is that why we haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
So basically, you make the
It is a
move.
neutral feeling.
Yeah, you made a move. Fuck, let's see what this is.
And she was on too.
Wrong understand.
She was on too.
She felt the same way that you
So it was
She
either
did,
a
actually.
win-lose situation at that point.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say is, while I've had that situation or that experience, right, I also have another experience whereby there's this girl that I liked so much, right? And I took so long to tell her, Mfana, you know what? I like you. And I think we need to be in a relationship, right? I took so long to a point whereby it was very hard for me to tell her when the time came, right? And I remember, Shem, that girl, she made so much fun of me. She actually didn't take me serious, right? And the friendship, so I became friends with her because Kimushetsi, Azangan Koma, but because I liked her so much, I kept her as a friend for a couple of years, not months, years.
But you know. Okay, sorry.
And I kept her as a friend for a couple of years. And the thing is, I kept her as a friend. I still dated other people, but in my mind, I want her.
Yeah.
The other ones, I'm just
Sure.
I know this thing is not gonna go anyway because my mind is here, and I want this one, right? It took so long for me to express myself to that girl again, to a point whereby it became so hard. It was very hard. I remember when she said to me, I feel like you're you actually love me, but I want you to say it to my face, right? And she said to me, let's meet. And we met. And then she was like, okay, talk to me then. Mfana, the hard shit that I went through. I don't even think I even said it. Mfana, let's do this shit. And the time she's making fun of me. She made fun of me so hard. It hurt me. Mfana. But because I loved that girl, I still kept in touch, right? And Mfana, I love that girl to a point why when I look back at those times, I could have done anything for that girl. She would have told me that, listen, I want an iPhone 15. I would have made a plan.
Are you in love, my man? But you know, just to touch on that.
And that it came from high school to me working. So it was a high school crush, even though we never went to the same schools, right? But it went from high school up until. And when I look back at those times, and I'm thinking to myself, fuck, that girl doesn't even know that she lost a real one. But I could have done anything for that girl, dog. But it was so hard. And she made fun of me.
But you know,
And I think she knew that.
Just to touch on that, just to touch on what he's just said around guys who befriend girls after being rejected by them. I think it's a
not a good idea, dog.
Shitty situation to put
It's
yourself
not
in.
a good idea.
Because you must remember, this girl does not like you. And now, you will always
Because she could have given you a chance.
Because she really liked you, then you would be together.
Exactly.
So, she'll, and it's not all girls, but she will look for every other reason, not even reason, but she'll look for every other opportunity to make use of you when she knows that she's got no intentions. So sometimes that's how it goes. And when you said she did that intentionally to want you to say it, it was more of to say like you love her. It was more of a mocking thing and a power thing over you. To say
validation.
That girl had power
validation
over
for
me.
her, but at the same time, is that thing yaring?
Mutu Oyena Namnganywa didn't say those words.
Exactly.
So she wanted it from someone.
Thank you. And that's why I get it. As a gent, you never get yourself in that position where you are going to sit with a girl that loves
Keep
that,
her around.
that does not
You can't.
love you, but whereas you asked her out, she said no, and you kept her as a friend, and later on she all of a sudden likes you. No. I just feel like
You know, the other thing, just to add on that, Inchaka, you see, that girl, ne? I kept her around even still after that. And I think you're right when you say that girl never liked me. Number one, right? She kept me around because maybe it was not being my friend, because it was those times of the smartphones are coming in. So even when she wanted like a certain song, because I had a BlackBerry at the time, right? And the BlackBerry were coming in, right? I have money, so I can buy all of these shit. So she would say, Mfana, you know what? I want this certain song. But because I have BIS, I mean, I'm the nigga. I can get this shit for her, right? Mfana, to show that that girl never actually liked me. I remember after those days, I still kept the friendship. And I thank her, by the way, for cutting the contact with me, because she's the one that cut the contact. Yes. I didn't. Otherwise, I would still be in that motherfucking thing.
I want to know if she sees them Mfana.
So she cut the contact. So I remember, so we spoke on that day, right? I think I found strength to actually say to her on that day when she said, say it to my face, right? Yeah. And then the following day, because she said, okay, you've now said it, because she said to me, as soon as you say it, then we're in a relationship, right? And I said it. And then the following day, now I'm coming through as a nigga that's in a relationship.
Boyfriend, yeah.
I'm no longer the friend, I'm a boyfriend now. Now, I think a couple of days later, I found out that actually she's now dating another fucker. And then I think that motherfucker knew who actually we that close, me and her, because we were very close, right?
Yeah.
I think that motherfucker told her, listen, cut ties with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because I know this motherfucker, if you say you're not dating with this motherfucker, then this motherfucker is trying to smash.
Yeah.
Right? And then she cut contact with me. That's how she got out of my life.
It's a good thing.
And she helped me. Because otherwise I would still be lingering. Waiting for my moment.
girls are very vocal.
Yeah.
Vocal doesn't mean it has to be via words.
Yeah.
It can be by intention.
Expressive. Yeah.
Now, when we talk about LSG, okay, like the gestures. You can see the gestures. Maybe she's old school where she's the hunting.
Yeah.
But
there are those, yeah.
The one that likes you will meet you halfway, even though she's you can't say it.
That's why there's been talk to a girl won't make it difficult.
You know the other thing about that situation.
That is a statement that is so true, and it is just downplayed because people want to have excuses, but that is very true. If somebody really likes you, they don't want to waste time and the risk of them losing you to somebody else. Because once they start acting up, that means there's a risk of you moving on to somebody else.
True.
So they're not gonna fuck around and be like, hey.
You know the other crazy thing about that situation, dog. That situation got me fucked up. I can tell you right now. That situation got me fucked up. Sometimes, a couple of years later after then, right? A couple of years after we did say, this is the vulnerable podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
A couple of years later, because obviously I had her as a friend, and then I was also talking to other girls, right? And many girls that I actually wanted to, but I was too focused on this one. Yeah. Everyone else came after this one. Ne? And then when I went through the conversations with the other ones, I was seeing hints there. This one actually wanted me. I can see I was supposed to make a move here. She opened a space for me to make a move. Mfana, like maybe about six girls.
Yeah, you regret.
6 girls, Mfana, they were making moves, but girls, they can't make like direct moves.
Yeah.
It's subtle, right? And I see Mfana all of these conversations, and I'm thinking to myself,
why did I fucking waste my time?
Now
I wasted my time with someone that didn't want me. Time these girls want me.
6 other people are there fucking, waiting in line, doggy.
So in wrapping this up, now where I learned from, Machita, usually you learn from a girl that's much older than you, or that's older than you.
Yeah.
There's this girl who was older than you, but how once are the tricks and the games of the dating scene? You've been moving skew.
Yeah.
Like she was not only very vocal, but now not direct. You fucking up here.
Yeah.
Do this. Let's do this. Right?
Yeah.
It got to a point where, Doc, if you don't want me, then there's no point for us to be in contact. As much as I love you, I'll go crazy. Let's cut this shit off. Why am I have you in my life? If I can't have you, don't understand.
Yeah.
Then it got me thinking, why am I playing half ground? Let's go to date. Let's do this. Basically, when her life is incomplete, that's when I'll tinta.
Yeah.
Meaning, you just filling up the void.
The void, yeah.
Then I realized, if she doesn't want me in her life, then never party living in her.
Exactly.
What purpose am I serving in her life? Because every relationship is a transaction.
Exactly.
So, me having you in my life, what purpose are you fulfilling?
Yeah.
And what purpose am I fulfilling in your life? And if it's not a 50-50 win, or we both not winning, cut the shit out.
Yeah. I actually saw a post that is similar to what you just said now. And it goes, a lot of women ask the question to say, why do men want to stop communication after we've told them that we don't like them or we can't be in a relationship with them? And then somebody actually responds and says, there's no need to be on company premises after a failed interview.
Yeah, you've been rejected. Why are you still going there?
Rejected. So why the fuck are you still there? You get what I mean?
And also, Mfana, it's a true thing.
It's a beautiful
Why the fuck are you still there? They don't want you.
Beautiful example. They don't want you. So why are you still there? For what? You're loitering now,
told you they don't want you.
You're loitering. I'm sorry.
But in closing, guys, seeming that we are,
now we need to wrap up.
Our time constraint. What
shit? We're gonna need a part 2 of this.
Even maybe a part 15.
This motherfucker was therapeutic.
So in closing for part 1, what advice would you give to a young gent or a gent that you feel that the advice is is detrimental in their life, whether personal, relationship, work life.
You know what I can say, ne? For young niggas, especially your teens to after high school, ne, to your university or to your 20s. There's a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah.
These niggas or these young niggas, ne, your teens, their age mates, they don't want them. They have nothing to offer for them.
Yeah.
Ne? Rona, when we were growing up, we were dating the girls that we went to school with.
Yeah.
Ne? Even though there were those ones that
but after some time they
Lady XZM, Lady what, because we had those.
SJ said.
Right. Ne? But there were not so many back then like they are now, especially with social media. These girls, buddy 17-year-old, mfana balata kidi, it's not even taxi drivers anymore.
Hey, dog.
Now
It's
it's sports cars. Dog. So what I can say to the young men is that they shouldn't feel pressure, man.
Yeah.
And they need to understand, Jorge, because we're living in different times, they need to work hard. The girls that don't want them now, it's fine. That girl doesn't want you, ne? Or that girl might be dating you, but she might leave you, especially if she starts being approached by an older guy that has a car. A car is everything to girls, ne? A car is everything. So they shouldn't feel pressure. They need to work hard, especially towards their own dreams. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't feel bad for the girls of their age not wanting them. It's because of the society and where the society is and all the pressures that come with social media. Now I can also get a guy as a girl that is like 17, 18, I can get a guy that has a car. And it's because of those motherfuckers that are going for kids, right?
Sure.
They shouldn't feel pressure. They need to work hard. There's nothing that beats working hard, right? They need to stay away from making kids while they're young. A kid and them staying away from making kids while they're young is also going to limit the thing of actually having to run away from that kid. Because if you're going to make a kid while you're young, your mind is telling you, oh, I haven't I haven't gotten to my 20s. Now I need to take care of the kid. Yeah. While my friends that I went to high school with, they're telling me, mfana, we're going to this club. We're going to Mapumenjalo.
There's going to be other pressures that are going to.
So they need to stay away from all of those things. Yeah. Work hard. Mfana, things are going to work hard.
Yeah. I think on my side, what I would say, just to also wrap it up, stay in your lane. And stay in your lane, stay your age, and compete with yourself. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Compete with yourself. Don't compete with anybody else, because if you do, that's where the life's pressures are going to be.
They should look at their own progress.
Yeah, so look at your own progress.
My advice, man the fuck up.
Yeah, motherfucker.
But in general, guys, I think the guys have said a mouthful. You guys have wrapped it up. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll put a closing in the next part 2 or part 14.
Okay.
For now, guys, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Stay strong, stay healthy.
For tuning in.
And
Global Streetz Lives
are
out
of here.